Not doing it. Oh no.
An error occurred on Facebook.
There we go. There we go. Okay. Hi there, everyone. Erin Lee here of HeavenLeeMessenger.com. And I'm here with my good friend, Bobbi Rowntree, born medium, for Universal Connections Oracle Chats with Bobbi and Erin. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, everyone.
So we had a little bit of a false start. I'm just hoping that we are broadcasting now and that everybody will find us. So today we are live on my HeavenLee Messenger Facebook page, on Bobbi's Spiritual Medium Facebook page, and then also on my YouTube page, because we needed to have a YouTube spot to be up and running. So we're on those 3 locations. So you might be popping into the chats and the comments and like, oh man, they skipped me. We might not have. Hopefully we haven't.
Hopefully we have not. There we go. There's something going on with the Facebook connection.
Oh, is it not working? Okay. Well, hey, you know what? If you're on live with us right now and you're on Facebook with us, do you want to just give us a wave and let us know which page you're on? And that way, hopefully we'll
Erin can fix it.
Yeah. You're right.
Because you're younger and more computer savvy. And yeah, well, you're just more computer savvy.
We'll go with that.
And I'm not even a slouch. So
awesome. Leslie's saying YouTube is working well.
yes,
That's
thank you,
awesome.
Leslie.
Thank you. Awesome.
Leslie.
So yeah, let's go through and say hello to everybody who's joined us so far. So do you want to start?
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Suzanne. Hi, Kimberly. Hi, Carrie. Hi, Jessica. Have I missed anyone?
Not so far.
Hello, Verna. Hello, Kimberly. Hello, Brenda.
Awesome.
Is that, have I
You
hit
know
everyone?
what? You are. I think you're skipping over a couple people. So I also have Leslie and Sue and Jessica. And then I see Verna and Kimberly and Brenda. Hi, everybody.
Okay.
So that's interesting. We'll just keep an eye on that. We might be unintentionally missing people. So thank you for your patience.
Universal Connections is fine. So
perfect.
That makes the most sense because that's our Facebook page. Thank you.
Great. Awesome. Janine and Carrie and other Carrie and Shelly. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.
So this week we're going to do just general questions. So we're not doing readings again this week, but we have received a couple of questions come in from people already. We would like to invite you to ask your own questions. So I have a couple that were left over from last week that we didn't get to, and one more from somebody who has submitted a question in advance of our show today. Where do you want to go first, Bobbi?
Oh, advance. The word is in my head. So whoever wrote the thing in advance, maybe that's the question we're supposed
to. Okay. Okay. All right.
You're like, advance.
Yeah, I know. I was really lost. And for the one who has the sheet in front of her, that didn't seem like a good thing. But yes, going for the one in advance. Absolutely. So this feels like it's a really strong Bobbi question. So this person has asked, why are people, and I'm assuming that she's talking about deceased loved ones, why are people starting to come to me? And she said, I'm scared. So Bobbi, what messages do you have around that?
Don't be scared. Actually, first off, don't be scared, because if you're frightened, if you actually receive the message within fear, then you actually might get dark messages rather than light messages. So, because that's what fear will do. And ask somebody to be around you that you know is already dead or on the other side, or somebody that you trust even higher, and ask them to help to filter the information so that you're protected.
Absolutely.
Around yourself. Sorry.
Yeah, that's absolutely what I would have said too. I mean, I love working with angels, so I would call on angels and I'd ask them for help and support. And this is again where rules come in for me. So, when I'm connecting with people on the other side, it's really important that they come through with messages that are intended to help support, heal, and promote love in some ways. And yeah, so that's a really big one.
Yes.
Yeah. But I love that you really emphasize the point that there isn't anything to be scared of or not to be scared.
Yeah. Please don't be frightened. Yeah. Because actually, if you get frightened, you actually create an energy that won't serve you. after
Mhm.
that. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean,
I
like
tame myself. Yeah, I do.
no, you get to be wild. I get to hold you down.
Okay, goody. Okay, goody. 'Cause I didn't know if I could do it.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh my
absolutely.
God. Out of
Awesome.
me.
Well,
Okie
JC,
dokie.
thank you for your question. Really
Yes, thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. And Janine, happy Sunday to you and Carrie and Shelly and Janine and Krista and Valerie. Oh, and Janine says that we missed her twice. We're really
Yes, that's why
sorry.
I said, "Hi, Janine," again. It's just so
Oh, okay.
yeah. You may not have seen me do it because you were talking so like
Perfect. And Brenda, it was so good to connect with you this week. Thank you. And Crystal, hello. It's wonderful to see you too. Awesome. So we don't have any questions that have come in on the live stream yet. So
okay,
Bobbi, you get to choose numbers 1 through 6. Where are we going first?
5.
5?
Yeah. I know that looks like 10, but
Yes. I was gonna say 5. Okay. Okay, so what is the best advice you have for someone who's starting on their spiritual journey?
meditate. Meditate.
Yeah.
Get to know you before you get to know them, because then you'll be able to hear them.
Mhm.
That would be my very basic advice. What would you say?
Yeah, I would go into self-awareness as well. And the other thing is eh, to realize that the people that you are drawn to spend time with, the energy that you're drawn to be in and to be around, that's likely going to shift and change over the next little while.
Yeah.
That, some relationships will become closer and others will start to kind of fall off and fall away. There doesn't necessarily have to be like a great big huge, we're not in like a relationship or we're not
Yeah.
friends or anything anymore, but just to recognize that that might be a natural part of what happens as you come into more spiritual awareness of yourself.
Or you might be even earlier than your friends.
Absolutely. Yeah, you
And
guys might come back around.
yeah, and what I hear in my head is like attracts like.
Yeah.
Which I say all the time to ladies about their husbands.
Mhm.
Your husband has some psychic abilities? What? What? If you do, he does. That's kind of how it goes.
That's
Like
awesome.
attracts like. So yeah, you start working on your stuff, and then you'll attract other weirdos towards you. And on your first part of your weirdo journey, it's so helpful to have friends.
Yeah.
So very helpful. I started out meditating with the young lady that you're very close to.
Mhm.
And it's kind of funny actually, because the twain have not met. Oh, I just saw not twain. Anyway, another T word. But yeah, I started meditating, and then
Mhm.
we split off into pairs.
Cool.
Yeah, because I was with Ariana and her mommy,
Yep.
and is who
Yep.
I started doing that with. I highly recommend that for everyone, period. Because even if
Absolutely.
you're not working as a psychic, you're
Mhm.
still receiving messages from something larger than yourself, because you are psychic,
Mhm.
because we
Mhm.
all are. There's just different, and people do different things with it. So
Mhm.
learn how you receive messages and how things go through in your head, then life
Yeah.
will go easier.
Yeah. Yeah, and the more that you recognize that you're receiving a message and acknowledge it for what it is, the more that you will get, the more that will come in time and
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of
Mhm.
like if I do a reading and I can't figure out what they're showing me,
Mhm.
they'll show it to me over and over and over and over, and I'll be like, "I don't get the brown book." And sometimes I'll just say, "Can you put it over here on the shelf or give it to me in a different sort of way?" Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, but confirmation makes it move. Otherwise, if you don't get it, you just keep seeing that same thing.
Yeah, over and
That's
over.
right. Yes, over
Yeah.
and over again.
Absolutely. Oh, and there are 2 other things that are popping up. Rest might be your friend more as you're, moving on to your spiritual journey, because usually there's some healing that happens, and so we need a bit more downtime
Good, right?
or, like, less stimulating time, and water. Water is really, really helpful.
It is. Yeah, that's why I sit in the salt tub.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a conductor. I
Mhm.
actually just told someone today to tell somebody to stick their feet in salt water
Love it.
to actually ignite everything.
Mhm.
That's
Beautiful.
something to listen to it.
Beautiful. Absolutely. Well, and we're so fortunate here on Vancouver Island. There's lots of salt water close
Oh,
by, so
we're so fortunate on
that can
Vancouver
be
Island. Oh my giddy aught. It's
seriously.
crazy. And if you're from anywhere else in Canada, you know that.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and that's not to put down any other parts of Canada, but it's so pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, we're really fortunate
That
here.
was so
Awesome.
pretty.
So we've got some more people joining us. Hello to Penny and Pamela and Jerry. Jerry's saying, "Welcome to my home, loving the energy." That's awesome.
Thank you, dear.
Yeah. And Marissa and Carrie and other Carrie and Janine. Fabulous. So I think, let me see. Okay, so Carrie's asking for advice, Bobbi, on how to meditate better.
That is kind of funny, actually. Sorry, the sentence is almost funny, Carrie. Out of love,
Right?
because you can't meditate worse or better.
Right.
Meditate more efficiently within yourself. Sorry, I'm being an ass. I don't even like what I just said. Like, anyway. Actually, I actually hear concentrate more.
Mm-hmm.
That almost seems contrary because we want to actually put the mind to the side, but it
Mm-hmm.
could be actually the intensity of your meditation and the intention behind it needs to step up a level. You
Yeah.
might have to actually admit some things about yourself to yourself.
Mhm.
That's always the thing with folks I've noticed.
Is it?
It's the I think there's something there for me, but I will have to actually be a little arrogant to look for it. And it's a
Interesting.
lack of arrogance in looking for your psychic abilities. Like it's,
Right.
yeah, because it's almost, it's like actually being arrogant about the ability to walk. That's what I hear in my head.
Said from somebody who probably is also trippy like me. Like, I don't know about you, but I trip over my own feet and always have. I am so clumsy.
That's actually kind of funny. Okay. See, you're still learning. Even Erin is still learning how to walk
Still
properly.
learning how to
That's
walk.
how good she is.
Yeah, yeah. Who would have thought that after 40 years, that's where I'd be? But there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
then,
you might want to put the chakras in your meditation,
mhm,
customizing it.
mhm.
Yeah.
Well, and what I get too for people who are having a hard time meditating is maybe try a different way of meditating. You know, meditating doesn't have to be sitting and like oming and chanting,
So
which
it
is
is not.
often how people see meditation.
Mhm.
You can go for meditative walks. You can do moving meditation, which can be really helpful for people if they have a lot of chatter in their minds because it's helping to integrate that. Yeah, you can do guided meditations or you can set intentions, you can call in, or you can focus on things like breathing. There are so many different types of
Oh, there's
meditation.
ridiculous types. Yeah. And they call it doer meditation.
Oh,
That might be the
cool.
movie meditation you're talking about where someone knits
Right.
or I will macrame plant
Mhm,
hangers. Does anyone need
mhm.
a plant hanger? Because I gotta do it.
You've got lots.
People come
Yeah.
around and like, "There's a plant hanger."
Well, and this particular type of moving meditation that I'm thinking of is one that comes into like it's more observational and it's coming into awareness of like the movement of your foot. So you might stay in a really small space, but it's very intentional and there's a lot of
Mhm.
awareness and it's just a different type of shifting. So there are yeah, lots of different types.
Oh, there are so many different types. The hardest one I've ever done
Mhm.
is the non-movement meditation. I had to learn how to
Mm.
where and it was funny because my yogi had a lovely accent. And she would say, "So if you feel an itch, acknowledge the itch, allow the itch to flow through, and then release the itch." And all I would think was, I wasn't feeling an itch.
But
Now,
now I am.
but it's hard.
Yeah.
But it's great. The complete non-movement. I would say try that for 4 seconds, minutes,
Mhm.
something like that, where you do not move at all. Only this moves. So yeah, maybe you wouldn't find that as hard.
Oh, I don't know. That sounds pretty challenging to me, not being able to
Yeah,
move. So what about like in a situation like that, are you able to adjust? I
no, you
guess
don't.
not.
what you do is, because it's what teaches you, and I've used it in other meditation, is that suddenly I can feel that in my body. I accept that my body is giving me that message. I am accepting that as energy. I'm allowing it to flow through, and I'm allowing it to move on. And it actually does. Because it's
Really?
what you pay attention to and how you pay attention to it that becomes your reality.
Right.
So with it, yeah, and those sorts of meditations are the ones that I learned as a yogi. They are for mindfulness, one mind, one pointedness. When you and I are meditating, we're meditating to bring ourselves to a higher place. They are, I don't want to say they're vastly different, but that's the word that came in my head.
And I can see how they could actually work well together if your purpose is to go up higher, because if you're coming into a place of learning mindfulness and one-mindedness, that also means that you're learning to shut off what's in your head and to not have to focus on the body. And so I can see how that can help to get you higher too.
Yeah, and it certainly does help the husk too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome. And Carrie says here that she loves weirdos. We love weirdos too. There are people.
Weirdos are the best.
Awesome. Awesome. And Janine, we're not doing personal readings today.
Well,
So yeah, sorry. I do my show on Tuesday evenings at 7 p.m. Pacific, which is 10 p.m. Eastern, on my Facebook page. If you're wanting to do readings like that. Bobbi, that kind of leads me to a question. I'm going to put you on the spot here. Are you going to start doing live readings at any point?
I am very on the spot right now.
Okay, we'll give you a little bit of space, but I think that we should all bring that into Bobbi's awareness.
I really, really enjoyed doing that time I did by myself. I was terrified to not have my Erin, because I need my Erin. She's my Papa's on chair. But Ooh, Australia, snazzy, Aussie. Sorry.
So hello to Ruth and Janine saying lucky to be on the island. Absolutely. And hello to Elizabeth and Casey and Marissa.
Can I say, Janine?
Yeah. Whoops.
See it happening. See him actually, visualize him actually being in the same geographical space as the children. See them actually interacting. See that in your head, and see the ocean, because that might make a difference, because that might island it for you. That's all I wanted to say, because I heard it, so I had to say it.
Awesome.
Someone get mad at me because it might have been Janine's mom.
Awesome. Oh, Marissa, we would so love to connect for messages from Spirit Team, but we're not doing personal readings today. But if you have a general question, we'd so love to hear from you.
Which can be kind of the same sort of thing.
Sorry?
It can be kind of the same sort of thing. You can ask a general question, and then actually the thing you're supposed to hear can come out of that question.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a really great point. Cool. So Jerry says she was invited to a psychic circle in Iceland. Wow, that's really cool. Crowded with unseen energy. That's awesome.
Wow. With unseen. Yeah, because Iceland is so. I was actually just watching a documentary about that area of the world.
Cool.
And about how quite possibly there might be lands that actually are underwater.
Oh,
yeah. They talked about
Atlantis or like Lemuria, like that type of idea.
Yeah, like the Earth reset.
Cool.
Yeah, cool, but not cool. I was like,
really interesting.
Because we always think this is so untouchable. This is never going to change. This is the way our society is, and that is that. But I have been watching. I actually watch historical videos on YouTube. Because I love historical videos. And they were talking about how there was at one time a mega tsunami that hit England. That separated Ireland from England. That separated England from the rest of Europe.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have to double check all the validities because it's YouTube.
Very cool. Yeah. Well, no, there's definitely lots of information. Like I was seeing the other day that the Appalachian Mountains are actually part of the Highland Mountains. And there was a separation that happened there too. Yeah, lots of restructuring of the.
And it's water again.
It is water again. Awesome.
Now
So,
I hear Lizzo's song in my head.
okay, now this is it's gonna get really awkward because I don't have teenage kids. What's Lizzo's song?
My kids don't even know about Lizzo. It's
Okay.
Drag Race about Lizzo to my love. I am free, yeah, yeah, come out on me. Oh, love you so, but if you know I have to dance. Yeah. I dance to that in the operator. If you don't listen to Lizzo, go and like download a little Lizzo.
Apparently.
Oh, it's great. I love Lizzo. I'm yeah.
Awesome.
Lizzo and Pink. Anyway, okay.
Awesome.
Yeah. So my
Awesome.
point is that I feel what I am noticing and seeing is that there is an us well beyond the us that we understand and know. And
Mhm.
the things that we believe to be true, or the way in which that things have been presented to us, might actually be slightly different than we expect it to be. Am I making sense?
You wanna hit me with that one more time? Because I think it
Belief
does.
systems and religions of our time
Yeah.
and parts of our society have made it so that we no longer see the magic,
Mhm.
that we logicize everything, which is
Mhm.
not a word.
Mhm.
And we actually then, some of us might feel like we're not connected to something larger than ourselves because we do not connect with the ideas that our present society or religions present to us. That's
Mhm.
where I'm going.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that there are a lot of ways in which current religions and, without being a theologian, I can
Mhm.
only speak to this to a certain amount, but
Yeah,
where, there's an active aspect to completely remove us from that sense of connection and in terms of who can connect and how you can connect and the things that you need to do rather than just seeing how every part of life that we experience is connection with God, source, universe, creator, divine, whatever your belief system is, that we're all
yeah,
interconnected.
and everybody's
Yeah.
different.
Mhm.
Everybody experiences what we do differently.
Yeah.
You and I have just learned how we experience it.
Mhm.
So it comes in, like when people say, "How do you hear people from the other side?" I say, "I shut up when they But that's, my shutting up is more I meditate. I say, okay, everyone come to my party. And then I ask
Mhm.
certain people to hang out by the door to make sure and they know there's a set of rules for the Bobby when they walk in and things like that. So it's not
Mhm.
entirely it, but
Mhm.
those are the rules we've made after. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, yeah, I
Those
would
are the rules
definitely say.
after, 'cause those rules are for Erin.
Yeah, Erin has a lot of rules too.
Yes. Well, and that's good. Erin sets boundaries.
Yeah, right? Yep. Yeah,
Yes.
I like
That's
that
good.
better. I
We
like
all
that
need to
better.
set boundaries. Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, and it's okay to set boundaries too. I think actually that's going to take me into a boundary tangent for just a moment.
Okay.
We usually create boundaries because we're recognizing that something isn't working for us. And as we grow, as we learn, suddenly we might come to a point in a place where not only do those boundaries no longer serve us, but that they actually hinder us in our development. Um,
Mm,
Last week when we were talking to a grandmother who was asking about the experiences that her grandchild was having with spirit. And basically, what we both came down to was creating boundaries for the child so the child could be safe. Well,
yeah.
eventually, that child is going to grow up and they may want to have greater experiences with the spirit world. So, in that case, the boundaries that were created on their behalf would not only no longer be serving them, but would also be detrimental to the growth that they're ready for.
Yeah.
And so, don't see boundaries as being things that have to be concrete. See them as something that is serving you for right now, but allow yourself to like to heal and to outgrow the need for that particular boundary and allow yourself to move and shift that boundary as you need as you grow.
Because sometimes you actually put the boundary in because you're actually not ready to receive the information.
Mhm.
Ah.
Mhm.
And I think it's very telling and neat that you brought up that particular person because they messaged me today.
Oh, did they? Oh, awesome.
That's very cool. Very,
That's
very cool.
awesome.
And I
That's
I
awesome.
agree. in so many ways. Okay. I don't know how to control my thing on my computer.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just going to keep going
I'll get
through.
Erin in charge.
Okay. All right. I'm okay with that. Stacy, hello. And Carrie says yes, that she creates when she's meditating. And Carrie says that she's going to look into different types of meditation. Oh, Casey, that's really cool. Casey's saying that we're actually neighbors. And with your last name, I'm really not surprised because I know that there are a lot of McKays around. So I'm, big waves, Union Bay waves to you.
It was part of a last name that there's a lot of them around.
I know. Well, I mean, technically I am, as a Lee. There are a lot of us around, but just not related to me.
I can understand that.
Yeah. Awesome. Ruth, we're not doing readings today, but if you want to ask a general question, we'd love to connect. And Pat saying, as we all start to scratch. Oh man, your itch.
That's an itch. Allowed you.
Hi, Josie. It's wonderful to see you. Oh, Janine, no apologies necessary. We're just glad you're here.
Absolutely. Yeah. And also, obviously, it needed to be answered because I got an answer in my head.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yes.
Absolutely. And Zenda, hello. Good morning from Australia. So glad that you were able to join us today. Wonderful. Okay. All right. So we've got a question here from Casey. Casey says, I would love to know how to better connect with my abilities. I have such a hard time shutting down my mind in order to open up to what I know I've been able to do when I was a child. That's so cool because that's kind of piggybacking on what we were just talking about as well.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. And, better connecting with your abilities. I think that, Bobbi and I would probably both say meditation is a really great way to do that, to start with that.
First off.
But I would take it a little bit further and I'd say start learning about the different ways that we receive intuitive messages and information.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most profound experiences that I had at one of our local metaphysical groups, I went to see Stephen Austin do a talk, and he's a medical medium. And he was describing all of the different ways that he receives messages about, what's happening in the body. And his background was in biology and sciences, and he had a very strong interest in medicine. And that all of the ways that he was describing that he was receiving messages was exactly how I received messages. It's just that I have no interest in that way in the human body. So that was his thing. And instead I focus on like relationship and business and finances and other things that are.
Yeah, that makes sense. When I get my medical medium stuff, it's all yogi.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll say to people, okay, now I have the medical training of a yoga teacher.
Yeah.
Which means I have human anatomy.
Yeah.
And it comes weird. Like I actually even said to a client once, it looks like you have Pepto-Bismol throughout your intestines or insulation or something like that, because you see it in a rudimentary sort of way. Mm-hmm. Okay, just pick on back on what you said, because I heard modalities.
Mm-hmm.
And because that's what I did that.
Yep.
I have so many cards. I don't read cards.
Yep.
But I have like a over here of cards.
Yep.
Because I read cards for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't hear for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it helped me to see what I could do.
Mm-hmm.
And I still have an interest in another thing. I have another thing I want to learn how to do.
Yep.
Or I'm going to look into.
Awesome.
Partly because one of my characters in my book is going to do it.
Perfect.
But also because it's nice to know different parts of all of this. Does that make sense? Like
yeah.
You and I, because we talk to different worlds, somewhat the same, somewhat different.
Yeah.
We can bring the same dessert to the party. Mm-hmm. Mine might be vanilla while yours is chocolate or something like that. Can you imagine me being vanilla?
No, I was just gonna say if anybody was bringing vanilla, it would be me, and I wouldn't bring vanilla either.
No, you bring angel food cake.
Right? Does that mean that you're bringing some sort of devilish dessert?
No, I'm bringing Sex on the Beach.
I tease. Yeah, you would. But to kind of
really not recommended. Very chafing.
God. Oh dear. So back to Casey. And
Yes,
Casey's
Casey.
question. Yeah, you know what? I love the idea of cards for a couple of reasons beyond what you've mentioned. If you're visual in particular, it can help you to create like the encyclopedia. So what does it mean if you see a rainbow, or what does it mean if you see an alcohol bottle,
Yes,
or
I got that.
so that can help to build your like your dictionary
Yeah,
of different.
repertoire is actually what I got in my head.
Yeah, that's a good one. Of different representations for symbols and for messages.
Yes.
And I've had things where I've seen a card from a deck that I use quite often in a reading, and like that right there gives me so much information.
Mhm.
So yeah, cards can be a really great way not only to connect for readings for yourselves, but also to continue to develop even more. Um,
Yes.
but
And
yeah.
Casey also is asked about quieting the mind.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So so
No.
so there are a lot of
What do you do?
things.
I know what I do,
What
but what do
what do
you
you
do?
do?
What well, I know. I do things outside of myself.
Yep.
I I actually chant each chakra,
Mm.
and that way I know when I'm lum, I'm in my root chakra. I'm not
Mhm.
cleaning my kitchen. I'm
Mhm.
not thinking about my kids. I'm not because my come on. In one point is like
Yep.
a whole harness all the dogs
Yep.
into one little thing. And yeah, so bringing it outside of myself, bringing a noise outside of myself. I've actually even told people to hold on to poles so
Interesting.
that their energy goes to there and it's over, and you create a bit of a energy triangle, so to speak.
Cool.
Because sometimes if it's too much in here,
Mhm.
you can go to so many places. And I don't know about you, but I can get messages while meditating.
Mhm.
And then it's like, they're not here yet. I can't do anything with that. Go away. I do.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what do you do, young lady?
Yeah, well, I make sure that I do things that disconnect. So like cell phones and TV and laptops, all of those things that are a part of our current social society and expectation, and the things that we do to like shut down and to numb our minds.
Mhm.
I turn all of those things off. And in fact, one of the best like channeling sessions I have ever had was when the power was out. There wasn't even the hum
Mm.
of the fridge in the other room. Like everything was quiet. And once I got over the initial discomfort of being in
Quiet.
complete quiet, everything just started coming through. But other things that I like to do or have done in the past that I'm getting back into doing are things like strength training, because when you are strength training, you have to focus on your body and your positioning and your posture and your breathing, and your mind can't be busy while you're doing all of those things. So yeah, anything that kind of gets you out of your head is something that allows a quietness there and gives
Yeah, it's
opportunity to
almost
bring
like you
in.
go into the body soul connection in
Hmm.
order to let the mind know you shush your mouth now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this is the body and soul are in charge. Because they kind of are in our readings. I don't know. I
Mm.
get physical stuff
Oh, yeah,
often
absolutely.
during
Yeah.
readings. Not like
Yeah.
I used to, but yeah, you can still because I don't want to.
Yep.
So that's why I don't quite as much. But yeah, you can still feel things. Yeah.
Yep.
You ever had the I had that happen to a client. I'm like, that's hilarious. It didn't happen to me. Good.
Well, one of I know that you'll be shocked by this, but I actually have a rule around that.
No. What was
I
wrong?
know, I know. So one of my rules is from clairsentient, so that means clear feeling or like an empathic point of view. I only want just like a little nibble of whatever that dessert is that you're feeling and experiencing in your body. So if you're experiencing full on like migraine headache, just give me enough to understand the severity of what it is that you're dealing with. And then as soon as I recognize that message, it's got to go.
Yeah, 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 I'm out.
Yeah. So actually, I have two rules around that. The first is I only want to experience just a little bit, just enough to let me know like how much it is and like where and what it is. And then the other aspect is as soon as I recognize it, and then the symptom of it has to go, because there's no point in me holding on to it.
No, because it doesn't serve you. And in
No.
fact, it'll take away from your ability to do what it is that you need to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I've
Exactly.
had them come. I've been put on the floor by, I don't like to even use the word
Yeah.
migraine
Yeah.
during readings.
Yeah.
And once it was because the person that was speaking through me wanted someone else to be in the room as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they shut down the reading completely. The second one was because the person, I, I couldn't give them any good information. They
Right.
actually passed away a week later.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Brain tumor. So I don't know if
Ugh.
that was related either, but yeah, it
Well,
was.
the fact that it was a brain tumor, that in and of itself could have been the
Could have been what
message.
happened. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
went back and forth with. Was it because, and
Yeah.
that because I always feel, that happened right at the beginning and I couldn't help
Mm-hmm.
her. And
Yeah.
then I thought, oh, what if there, yeah, and then, but you can't do that.
Yeah.
Everything happens the way that it's meant to. If I
Mm-hmm.
was supposed to give her a message, I would have been able to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Absolutely.
that's like
Absolutely.
that. Okie dokie.
Awesome. Well, Casey, thank you. That was an awesome question. And I'm waving to you from my place, so I'm sure that you can see it.
They're indoors.
And Ruth
Thanks,
is
Ruth.
loving your pink hair. I love
I
your pink
matched
hair
the
too. You totally do. That's it. I'm gonna have to go purple for next week.
Oh, I have some.
Do you really?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, we might have a hair dyeing date at Bobbi's this week. All right. Let me see. So okay, so we've got Leslie asking a question here. So she says,
No, it doesn't mean it's bad. Sorry.
okay, I'm just gonna read it for everybody else.
You read it.
In the last 6 months, I've been woken by something touching my mouth twice, my stomach, and sounds in my ear. I now ask for protection. It hasn't happened again. Does that mean it was a bad entity? Okay, go ahead.
No, it means that they were sad that they scared you. They didn't mean to. And actually, what it goes on in my head right away is there's someone from, I'm not sure which one of our loved ones does this, but they actually run their finger along my son. When he's starting to fall asleep, they'll start up here, and there's just, you can feel them go. He just lays there going, okay, stop it. But my kids are so used to it. I actually think it's a loved one, Leslie. I don't think it's a bad entity. I think it stopped because you got frightened and they were like, oh no, I frightened her. Tell them what to do to speak to you. Quite obviously, you are able to be spoken to.
Yeah. Yeah. And they often come at night because that's when we're quiet.
The mind is.
Yeah.
I mean, you are actually in your highest form of meditation. You're actually in your highest form of meditation. I was taught as a yogi, when you are actually waking up. That's why that's the dream you remember the quickest, the easiest, because your consciousness is actually engaging with what's going on, so you'll remember that one or something like that.
That makes a lot of sense, because I know that this last week or so, my morning dreams have been so significant, and they've been very psychic. Like, they've been about long-term clients, and like one of them, the message that I woke up with was, this person needs to talk to you at 4 p.m. on Wednesday. And I was going to reach out to her just to see how she was doing, and she'd already booked an appointment for 3:30 the day before.
For the first half hour to just, I'll wait till 4.
Yeah, that's right. No, yeah, actually, we can't talk until tomorrow. I'm sorry.
They said.
Yeah. So one of the questions that I get a lot is, about people who are receiving messages from loved ones while they're sleeping, or their sleep being disrupted by people coming through, spirit or angel or whatever. What would you just say to something like that?
I would say pay attention to them, honestly. And before you go to sleep, start telling them exactly how you would like it to go, how you would like them to come in, because they really, really, really want to communicate with you. And sometimes, though, they just flash to the chasing dreams in my head. That's what I call them, the chasing dreams.
Yep.
Sometimes that spirit, that my father was like on the other side of windows for the longest time.
Interesting.
Or one time I had a dream. He was in the front seat driving. I was in the back seat as a little kid, and I couldn't get his attention. And then the car disappeared, and then he was running, and I was chasing him, and it was quite the thing. But it was because at first he wasn't able to turn around and say hello. And sometimes you have these dreams with them where they can't orchestrate it as well as they would like to either. So,
Mm-hmm.
and actually, what I'm hearing in my head, and
Mm-hmm.
you, the lady, can confirm this.
Mm-hmm.
You might want to even ask, angels, please help my so and so to communicate with me better, because
Yeah.
they're the ones who they help with the troubled souls like nobody's business.
Absolutely. And actually, if you wanted to call on a specific angel, there are actually three who pop into my head.
Oh,
So,
goody.
yeah. So, if you don't remember these names, that's okay. Angels, please help me with this thing is
Yeah,
enough.
you will if you
Um,
need to. Yeah.
Archangel Azrael is the angel who helps us cross over and helps the people who are left behind with the healing and the grieving, and also helps to connect us with communication between the other side. So, I mean, if you only remember one angel that you want to work with to help you with connecting with the other side, Archangel Azrael, and that's
There
spelled
you go.
Azrael.
That was me pointing to you, by the way. And I
Oh, was
did.
that? But I'm right here. Then the other two who can be really helpful, Archangel Gabriel is one of the angels who really helps us with communication. So you can
Yeah,
call on
she did
Archangel
come in and
Gabriel. Yeah, ask her for help. And then Uriel, and I'm kind of surprised that Uriel popped in with this, but he did. Archangel Uriel helps us with emotion and with healing around emotion. So often there is some unresolved or unhealed emotion that can be benefit from some help and support from Uriel as well. So,
I need to know my angel language more.
well, angels, please help me is enough. That is
That's the one
enough.
I use. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I've only ever done Michael for
yeah,
protection,
yeah,
Raphael for healing,
yeah,
Shamuel to find things,
yeah,
because I lose everything.
yeah. And Shamuel helps with soulmate relationships as well. Just throwing that one out there. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okie dokie. I
Mm-hmm.
stopped using her in such a tiny little fashion, like
Yeah.
tiny iPad.
Yeah. No, Shamuel helps you find like relationships and partnerships, jobs, career changes. No, Shamuel helps on lots of
Oh,
different levels.
that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff. Seen a lot of angel stuff. I don't know if it's your fault, but
Probably. That's okay. I'll take responsibility for you seeing more angels. That's
yes. And
fine.
I was obsessed with them as a child.
Were you? Yeah, me
Oh,
too.
absolutely. Which is why I had a dog named Angel, which is why I have so many angel statues, because I was so obsessed. I do this to my children too. My mother still buys me all angel things.
I love
I
it.
still buy my daughter Ariel Little Mermaid things, because she
Yep.
loved Little Mermaid when she was 5, so she must still when she's 22, right?
Absolutely, obviously, because you don't change in 17 years. That's for sure.
Oh,
Awesome. So we've got some lovely messages 100% from Jessica, and Casey's talking about boundaries are so important, but that's been a game changer to know that boundaries can change. Yeah. Oh gosh, that's so powerful.
I'm McKay from Union Bay.
Yeah. Yes.
Why?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
I'm a
pretty
Rowntree from Bloopablee. What starts ends with B? Anyway, Courtney. Oh, I'm a Rowntree from Courtney. Okay, that's not the same. Okay.
Okay,
Oh,
so
I'm making a space cake. Debbie says so. I like that. Do I have to make
so
it?
so Brenda's got a really awesome question here
It
for
really does.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, when there is a missing person, do you see where they are or if they've crossed over? A missing person in Kamloops at the ski hill. Okay, so she's talking about somebody in particular here.
Yes,
So
currently missing.
what do you get with situations like that?
When it comes to missing people, it is always so cloaked.
Mhm,
And I was trying to help somebody find a missing dog just a couple of weeks ago. And
mhm,
I have helped find the bodies more than I have
mhm,
helped to find the people.
right.
And sometimes I'll know that they're gone, and sometimes it's so hard to tell though.
Mhm,
So very, very hard to tell, I because they can present things to me. I know for myself, I have in one instance, I was looking for a missing person, and this was a difficult one. And I was talking to his loved one, and the way he was showing it to me, he was
mhm,
so happy. And where
mhm.
he was, everything was good.
Yeah.
And he had built this whole camp, and he was very, very happy where he was. And we're either going to find him actually
Mhm,
like all set up, or
mhm.
he's letting us know he's crossed over and
Right.
he's what he's got, and he's made peace with gone doing this. When I
Mhm.
see the Ryan Shetka, when I look at his, I actually see somebody like they're in an igloo. So I don't know. It's yeah. When something like that too, I do those
Mhm.
pro bono
Mhm.
completely and absolutely. You have a missing person, you have a
Yeah.
missing animal, and
Yeah.
you don't think I'm going to charge you.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what with you? Have you
I
ever?
You know what? I don't. That's it's not my forte to connect with deceased loved ones first of all.
Yeah,
So it's really outside of the realm of my experience and what I'm comfortable with, and I don't feel that what I get around that is really accurate. So, I would encourage somebody to talk to somebody else if they were looking for someone, and I would go more into a place of peace and healing for all involved, and that the person have the resources that they need if they're meant to be found.
that is you're very yeah. If you don't know what you should say, then it's best to say nothing at all.
Yeah.
You can. That's why I always I think, I don't know if I can help you, but this is what I see.
Mhm.
It's so difficult. Yeah, and it's very
Yeah.
similar to me as when people come to me and say, "Okay, we don't know how they died."
Mhm.
It goes through, especially with someone's been their life
Yeah.
has been ended by somebody else.
Yeah.
Then yeah,
Mhm.
that can be a difficult one to give any sort of because yeah, it's kind of like if you're FaceTiming with someone and they're not
Mhm.
actually flipped onto their face.
Mhm.
And all you can see is what they're looking at and seeing. You're going to see their footfalls. You're going to see that's the way I see it.
Mhm.
So it can be very, very confusing. And yeah, I hope the best for his
Yeah.
family. And I
Yeah.
hope they do find him. And I hope everything is wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah,
Everything will be good.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
That one kind of brings one up for me is when somebody's going to die. I've had people ask this question from a couple of different
Yeah.
perspectives. Sometimes it's because it's like an ex-husband who's really unwell and they're needing them to die.
Yeah.
But other times,
That
yeah,
sounds very specific.
yeah, well, I've had it a couple of times, so it's not just one person. But other times it will be somebody who is very ill or is very old, and they're just, they're wondering when.
When will they release?
Yeah. So how does that work for you, Bobby?
Do you know what I hear in my head immediately?
Yeah.
When's the baby going to be born?
Oh, right.
It's up to the baby.
Right.
Completely and absolutely. But yeah, even the dead don't know when someone's going to die.
Mm-hmm.
And every time someone asks me, they say it won't be long now
Yeah.
because it won't. But
Yeah.
because even our passing to their minds will not be long now
Yeah.
because 50 years,
Well,
that's not
time is pretty irrelevant.
time
Yeah,
is
I
completely irrelevant.
I
And you
I
can
don't get.
expedite it quicker for yourself. But your death date, I
Yeah.
actually even say, I know they should actually write it on the bottom of your foot, but
Kind of
everyone
like
will
an
be
expiry
walking
date?
like this all the time. People will be obsessed
Yeah.
with the death date.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're not supposed to know.
Yeah.
Even the dead don't know. They
Yeah.
don't know what's going on.
I don't get anything accurate around that, and so I don't share those types of
Yeah, you just let
messages.
it go. Yeah, because you're not supposed to know.
Yeah.
Why would
Yeah.
you want to know?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so Debbie's bringing, or pardon me, Debbie says that you're bringing spice cake.
Yeah, I know. And I'm worried that I might have to make it myself. Never made a cake for you. I keep on moving. I was wearing a blue skirt
Yeah.
and then I picked up my tea and poured the tea all over myself. Which is just like me. So I take off my skirt and I only have my long johns on underneath.
We're just glad you decided to wear pants
Oh yeah, this time.
this time. Yeah, that's the thing with only seeing part way up. Like we could be wearing pajamas or nothing at all. Who knows?
Yeah, like
All
well,
right.
we might not be tucked.
Yeah. Right.
Nothing to tuck.
Okay, so Casey's asking, but how do you know what and how you want spirit to bring you messages or signs? Is it more manifestation? I would I would say that that's probably one, choosing things that are really simple and straightforward that are easy to manifest. So don't,
Mhm.
do like three eagles all at one time and they do like a loop de loop and then they reach down, they grab a fish out of the ocean. Like that's really complicated and convoluted. But the but the eagle,
One eagle.
when you ask for a message and say, and let me know it's a yes because there's an eagle in a certain time frame, and then when you see that eagle, oh, that's your message.
Yeah. Or like even okay, so there's so many things, but even when you and I, like when you say, oh, I don't really get anything there, go with yourself. When you get a sign, they know what you're paying attention to. So they're going to give you stuff that's going to land in here in some sort of way. So pay attention to the stuff you want to keep seeing. And then when even if you think you're making it up, make it up. Because then they'll go, oh, I get it. She wants us to do this, this, and this, and this, and this. We weren't, but we will now. And,
because you're creating the pathway.
Yeah, you create the pathway. Tell them how to talk to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've even said to them, I don't get that. Like with the brown book thing. I said, okay, put that book on the shelf and show it to me in another way because I ain't getting that one, guys.
Yeah.
But I know messages coming in. That's the thing that we have to know. You are getting a message.
Yeah. And I think that's something a little bit that we spoke about last week too, but it's coming up really strongly to address it again, is questions. Questions are your friend. You can ask questions. You can ask for clarification. Is this what you mean? Yes or no. Don't ask open-ended questions, but you can start asking yes and no questions. Am I right if it is this? Yes. No. Another thing you can do actually with yes, no, where you can start to feel like answers in your body is sway testing.
Sway testing.
Yeah.
That's about pendulum.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, kind of. It is a form of dowsing. So like pendulums, dowsing rods, crystal balls, muscle testing, they're all forms of dowsing.
Oh, okay.
And with sway testing, it's kind of funny that you're swaying as you are. Because what you do is you become comfortable in your body while you're standing, and start off with questions that you already know the answer to, that you don't have a vested interest in. So for example, I might do, is my name Erin? And typically what you'll do is you will fall into the answer. But if I were to say, is my name Bob, then I would start to come back. Now, Bobbi, you might not ask about Bob. You might ask about Glenn.
You might ask about Glenn. Is my name Glenn?
Is my name Glenn? And the idea with it is that when you sway back, you are pulling yourself away from something. So that's not truthful. That's not. And so that's actually
truth. You move closer to it. Your heart wants to go closer to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
And what I would do is I would start off with questions you don't have a vested interest in. So helping you make decisions around like what you're going to eat that day, or what you're going to wear that day, as opposed to deciding whether or not you're going to uproot your life and move across the country. Like, don't start sway testing to get answers for that.
Don't start on the big ones.
Yeah, start small, baby steps. But once you start to feel what that feels like in your body, those are pathways that you've created. So then when you start asking spirit, like, do I have that right? Is this a yes? Then you can fall into it. Or is it no, it's not. So there are lots of little things you can do.
Would you say too, the emotion behind the question might actually color the movement at all? Like you have to look at how you're feeling with the question. The question itself isn't as much.
Absolutely. Actually, there are two things with questions. So yeah, one, you can't have a vested interest in the answer. So for example, you might be asking a question about romance and you really want the question to be a yes, or the answer to be a yes. You're not in the right place to be using this method. If you really want an answer, you really don't want an answer.
You guys see it over there.
Yeah. You have to be open to receiving a yes or a no, and not have any vested interest in the outcome. Otherwise, you're too close to it. And you also need to be really specific with your question too. So often people will get muddy answers if they're asking a yes or no question, but it's not a really specific question.
Yeah, don't be ambiguous. And the other thing that goes in my head too is every morning I go on my phone, because I sing in the shower every morning.
Yep.
And I say to them, what do I need to hear today? Show me. And I press shuffle.
Yep.
And then I get the songs.
I love it.
Yeah. And to be perfectly honest, there are times like, I don't want to hear that today. And I'll shuffle and I'll hear the same dang thing. I'm like, dang it.
Got it. Understood.
Understood. What? Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Casey, you know what? I will follow my Facebook page. Casey said that she has cards but need more practice. As the weather gets nicer, I'm going to be starting to teach classes around understanding your intuition using cards and stuff. So follow on my Facebook page, especially since you're so close.
Oh, yeah. Follow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hello, thanks for joining us. And let me see, we've got lots of love coming from Casey, lots of thank yous. And Katie, if you want to ask a general question, we're not doing readings today, but we'd love to connect with you. Okay. Oh, Pat's got a great question here. What deck of cards do you suggest for a beginner? How do you empty your mind enough to see anything outside of everyday life? Okay, so that's actually two questions. There's kind of one for me and one for you.
I'm the empty mind, aren't I?
Yeah. Thanks, Pat. That's really awesome. I really appreciate that. I feel like we're kind of like kids right now, and there has to be one for each of us so that it's even.
Oh, I see. Okie dokie. I won't feel bad. Anyway,
Okay.
you go ahead. You talk about the cards.
Okay. So when it comes to cards, there are lots of different decks that you can use. One of the things that I would suggest is that you take a look through the cards. So if you're purchasing from a metaphysical shop, usually they'll have sample decks of the cards that they're selling. If you are buying online, or if your metaphysical shop doesn't have a deck of sample cards, then I would hop online and take a look at the pictures. So you can do a Google search and you can put in the name of the deck and you can ask for images from the card deck. And in that way, you can start to see whether or not you resonate with like the imagery, with the messages that are on the cards. For me, when I choose a deck of cards, I like something that has a fairly simple image. And I also like to have a message on the bottom. That really tweaks things for me. Because for me, I mean, some of my messages are visual, but mostly I get messages through thoughts and ideas. So that's where the words can be really helpful. I enjoy symbolism as well. That really works for me too. And things that the images that really resonate for me. So it's going to be different for each person.
Yeah.
But I would suggest decks that also have a guidebook with them, depending on how you're wanting to read them. So the way that I teach is to use the card deck as a method to develop your intuition. So then we're not looking so much as at the meanings behind the cards as we are at the messages that we're getting from the cards, because the cards are acting as like a trigger point for you, or like a little bit of a, that hand movement.
Yes. A starter almost.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's tweaking something
I
for
hear
you.
roadmap in my head.
Yeah,
that doesn't seem
absolutely.
like it's completely correct.
But yeah, it kind of gets you started on a path. The other thing that I would do is I'd encourage you to take a look at the author's social media, because that will tell you a lot about the types of messages that you're likely to find in the card decks, and as to whether or not that's going to be something that resonates for you. So there isn't one particular or specific deck that a person might choose, but the more that you understand how you relate to the cards, the easier it's going to be for you to find cards that will work for you.
Yeah, it's a trial and error. I
Yeah.
have how many decks? I think I have 8 decks right over there. And I don't use them. It's such a difference looking at how
Yeah.
you choose a deck as opposed to how I choose a deck.
So how would you choose a deck?
I actually go over all the decks.
Yeah.
And when I can feel, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
we're buying that deck.
There you go.
But that is because I'm using them for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not using them to help other folks.
Yeah.
And if they were part of my job,
Yeah.
I like you having it all on one. You have certain job requirements with your deck. Mine are just
Absolutely.
this one resonates. So this is what I'm picking. That's what I do. That's how I pick my crystals. That's how I picked you. That's how I picked you.
Awesome.
This is given.
I love
I love
it.
that.
I love that you have 8 decks and I'm positive I have about 80. Like
Yeah.
I have a lot. And the majority of them I don't use. I have them for my courses and my classes. And because,
Oh,
some women have a shoe addiction, I have a card deck
you have a deck
addiction.
addiction. Yes. Yes. Yeah. I'm not the shoe addiction woman either. No.
No.
No. I
No.
don't know. I don't know. I like shiny
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like
Shiny
baby
things are
stuff.
good.
Oh.
Awesome. So did you want to tackle how to empty your mind enough to see anything outside of your everyday life?
Yeah, I would actually breathing,
Mhm.
pranayama. I would actually start with the pranayama,
Mhm.
breathing in through your nose for the count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember doing that?
Yeah,
7,
I
8.
absolutely I
Yeah.
do.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we used to that with yogic breath.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Sorry.
yeah.
I
It's
love the
also
dance.
pranayama though. I find that the counting will help
Mhm.
center my mind
Mhm.
and make it so that okay, here I am. I know because even when you're meditating, and when I
Mhm.
used to teach meditation, I would tell people if your mind starts to wander, just come on back. Bring yourself to
Mhm.
the breath. Start breathing 1, 2, 3, 4 with the counting because it actually centers everything. For
Mhm.
some reason, too, I'm seeing the alternate nostril breath, which is
Mhm.
one I use for opening the third eye, where you put your fun finger in your third eye, one finger to compress, and then breathe in through the non-compressed nostril, breathe out through alternate nostril breath. You can look it up. But it
Yeah.
helps to everything here too.
Yeah. And I love that. And that's exactly what I would have shared too. But then I read the other part. How do you clear your mind, empty your mind enough to see anything outside of everyday life? Everyday life is where messages are too. So
Yes, yes. Yeah, I
so
think it's to see the magic behind the logic is
yeah,
what.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think Ruth may have meant um uh pendulum, not pentagram.
Oh, possibly,
Autocorrect may
possibly.
have corrected you. May have.
Yes, yes. So
Unless you are using the pentagram. Do you ever use the pentagram?
I know I don't use a
You
pentagram.
don't use a pentagram? Do people use
No. I know that pentagrams are very much part of the Wiccan culture, and
Yeah,
I'm not very fluent in that. But if you are, let's talk about pendulums
pendulum.
because that is something that I can talk about, and I think you can talk about that too. Do you have
Yes.
anything you want to talk about with pendulums?
I like using a pendulum, but I don't usually take his advice verbatim
Okay.
because even when I ask for an angel to control it or for the highest power to control it, quite
Yeah.
often I wonder if I do
Right.
because
So actually,
I'm really good at the pendulum. I'm a big fan, and I kind of used to do it as a party trick
yeah.
for my kids' friends because
Nice.
it's fun.
It is
It's
definitely fun.
it is fun. Do you ever
Yeah.
use pendulum?
I do, absolutely. Yeah, pendulums are a visual representation of the subconscious.
Wow,
So,
good.
I
Yes, because
yeah,
it's me. Yeah.
yeah. So the same things that we talked about with the muscle testing, like this is a form of dowsing as well. So you want to be really clear in your question. You want to be relaxed when you're using a pendulum. I find it best if I support my elbow against my body or to have it on the table because any tension that you have in your arm can have an impact on how
On the
the
movement of it?
yeah, on how it moves. And I see that you're holding yours really long. I like to hold my pendulums quite short. I don't have one here.
Oh, I just didn't want it to get tangled. This is actually just my necklace that
Yeah,
Cindy McPherson made for me.
beautiful.
Oh, she makes the most amazing jewelry.
I love
Anyway,
it. Yeah, I like to drape mine over my finger and then just allow it to move.
they
So,
just move. This one
yeah.
is like saying yes, yes, yes to you. I always have the round and round is yes, and the back and
Yep.
forth is no.
Yep. For me, back and forth like
Avoid the
this is
computer away.
yes
Good.
and side to side is no. That's
Okay,
mine.
show her inside to side.
There you go.
Good job. So
Sweet.
big. So you know, I treat it like it's a baby. I'll go around and around again. What the heck?
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go.
And if you're not getting anything really clear, breathe, relax, and don't have any expectation of it. It took me a long time to learn to use a
Super
pendulum.
don't have any expectation, because now when I do it as the party trick, when I first used to do it, I only did it for kids because I thought, what if it doesn't move?
Yeah.
What if it doesn't go anywhere at all? But it does. It always has. I've always loved the pendulum for that.
Yeah. Yeah. And
But
unless you have established rules that only you can use a certain pendulum, or it only works if you use a certain one, or it has to be a certain crystal, those are your rules and your
rules.
limitations. Yeah.
Anything can be your necklace, your
keys on the end of a string. Yeah.
Your key, anything that hangs. Like even this one. And this one will do really well because it's lapis lazuli. Yes, that's the one. Lapis lazuli. I love this one. I love this one for opening the third eye.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
lapis is such a
I
cool
have so much lapis.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's talked about a lot in Games of Thrones. Actually.
Oh, interesting. I have not actually seen Game of Thrones yet.
Oh, it's the books. It's talked about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you got to read the books.
Yeah.
So much better than the show. And if you like the show, you'll love the books more.
That's
actually,
what's that?
When I watch my YouTube videos about history,
I
am less impressed by George R.R. Martin because, dude, that's history. Winter is coming. There was a huge winter. It was like, anyway, okie dokie.
Awesome. Donna, if you want to ask a general question, we'd love to connect with you. We're not doing readings today, but thanks for joining us on the show today. Awesome. Casey, so glad that we were able to share some messages for you. Awesome. So Jessica says for her, she receives the clearest messages when you naturally wake up at 3 a.m. and meditate.
Yeah, I call that the actual witching hour. That's what I call that. 3 a.m. always, with the 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. Good golly, Miss Molly. Something happens at that time.
Yeah.
Where things just, it's like the moon and the sun, everything is in alignment. And if I'm not awake, they're like, Bobbi, it's 3. Wake up, 3 a.m.
You see, I'm on the opposite side from that. I'm usually still awake.
Oh, yes, you are. Yes, I can get messages from Erin at like 2 a.m.
Yeah. I'm just working right now. I'm getting this thing done for our podcast. Yeah.
I'm really getting up just as you're going to bed.
Yeah, right. That's pretty par for the course.
Yeah,
for me.
I've been very much a day walker the last little while. Very, very much.
Awesome. So Janine, thank you for joining us. We're not doing readings today, but we'd love, to connect for general questions. And same, Manuela, we're so glad that you're here today. If you want to ask a general question, we'd love to connect today.
Actually, you will.
Yeah. I was
yes, Manuela.
I was just gonna say, I feel like this is something that we can probably answer in a really general kind of way. So when our parents cross over and pass over, are they still with us, and are they with their kids?
I don't know, Dad.
Yeah.
Yes, they're still with us, and they do watch over our kids, and they hold our babies when we're pregnant.
Yep.
Things like that. Yeah, your parents stay with you very, very much. Stay with you. But your kids, actually, when you cross over. And there are some people that there's a certain couple I read where their grandchild was, unfortunately, her life was ended. She was only 2, and she shows up, and because she's watching over the whole family.
Yeah.
But almost sound like a child when I speak with her.
Yeah.
Because I get so excited, and she gets so excited, and we're so excited, and I see her like a little spooky thing walking all around. So I know our family, and also too, it helps them to do that. Especially if they've screwed up when they were here, what they do to help watch over the rest of the family and bring the rest of the family's energy up will actually assist them on the other side, because we're all connected as well. So it behooves them to help you in their part of your thing. And you got to think of yourself as a clan, not a family. And you build your clan.
So is that true if you didn't have a good relationship with them when they passed?
Oh, absolutely. Even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like my grandfather, the piece of poopy poops. who used to come back and try to make up for things with my kids and scared the living daylights out of them because he was a poopy poops. But he was still trying to make up for it. He was just, flawed when he was here. Alcohol will do that to a person. So especially because I'll have people, I'll say, oh, you're so-and-so's there. I hated them when that's why they're here. Because this isn't done.
Yeah.
When everyone's great, it's
And one of the things that I've been seeing on kind of from a generational perspective is that we're growing in leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
And like if you're looking at the difference between like a child and a grandparent, there's so much learning that can happen in that time. And I often hear messages like everybody's doing the best that they can with the resources that they have. And, they're better than what came before them, or they've learned. And
if the mentality is better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The non-judgment of others, things like that.
Yeah. And so having compassion where you can, like recognizing that they did the best that they could. It just wasn't the best that you could do.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, I hear something so cheesy and I apologize. Lead with love.
I love that.
Sorry.
You say it's so cheesy and I'm like, I love that.
I know. It's I have you, my little cheesy friend. I hear cheesy things all the time. I go, oh my God, this is going to be so cheesy. I got to tell you this. And
it's like, I love it.
Put on a piece of wood and then hang on their wall.
Right. Okay, this is a total tangent, but when my nephew was 4, he was up here and we were like playing and he was like at me and I'm like, love conquers all. And he didn't want to play with me anymore. Yeah, that's like, oh, well, Auntie Erin, that's not cool. Yeah. Anyway.
He doesn't know about the love energy thing yet. We should make a movie about people who actually evoke change with the love energy in their hands, rather than people get violent and angry and upheaval and hurt people in order to evoke change. Right. And maybe we would start thinking differently.
Absolutely. I'm with you.
Anyway. Oh, I have those, Debbie. I actually spelt the word earlier today because I don't like to say the word.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to. Yeah, and it's silly, but they're awful.
Yeah,
absolutely awful. And the one I described came during the reading. Mm-hmm. Both of them that I described came during the readings. I get them. Mm-hmm. But mine are light induced because they're ocular.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're also quite hormonal, and that might have to do with the energy. I got them all the time when I was pregnant with one of my children. Mm-hmm. All the time. Oh, it was awful. But in each child is there. So maybe there's some stress going on that you might want to look at. That would be my only idea. Do you have an idea about that? Other than physical.
Okay, well, the only thing that was coming up for me was chiropractic because I was seeing stuff going on in the neck.
Because it's constrictions of her back of her neck, and that's where I was like physical.
Yeah,
because it looks like there's not enough something going on here, and it might actually even be her stress doing this, and then that causes this, and that's why we see it like that.
Yeah, and there's extra stress because there's extra pain.
Makes sense. I didn't use any proper words. This and that, and then
Sometimes being the channel and the translator, it's hard.
It is. It's hard to get the right words out. Yes.
Yeah. If there's a World Translator Day, I think that we should celebrate as well, Bobbi. That's just popping into my head.
I wish they had a universal translator like on Star Trek.
Oh, wouldn't that make a difference?
It would make a huge
absolutely
difference to be a universal translator. But we'd have to do it for people's emotions.
Yeah, I was going to say that would probably put us out of work, which I'd be okay with. I think that would be absolutely amazing if everybody could receive messages for themselves. I think that would be that's the ideal.
But it would only be on the Hippodipa basis.
Right.
You don't just deal with human to human interaction.
Right.
Yeah.
So you'd get like human to spirit and
and I'm pretty sure people are still going to pass away.
I'm positive that they will. Absolutely.
I really hope they do because
we're going to run out of room.
And the smell would get so bad. Anyway.
God. All right. So hi
Right.
to Vi and to Janine. Thanks for joining us.
Oh,
Awesome. Lindsay, we're not doing readings today, but we're so glad that you joined us for the time together. Thank you. Let me see. And Ruth's asking about Michael. I'm kind of wondering if she's talking about Archangel Michael going
I
back
believe
to,
he is when we were
yeah,
talking about the
you can
angels.
you can always call on Archangel Michael. He is so incredibly present in our lives. There's absolutely no problem with calling on Michael. He's maybe just not the ideal angel or archangel to connect with if you're wanting to specifically talk to loved ones on the other side. But he certainly will help to facilitate that for sure.
Yeah. I
Especially,
think somebody's trying to facilitate something else.
what
Who
do you
are
have
you,
going on?
Tyrese?
Sorry,
And
what
what
was?
group am I in with you? What the hell are you talking about?
Oh my goodness.
I know. Stop lying. You always talk about Erin in the group we're in. What the? What?
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 Oh,
All
that's
right.
so
Thanks for
funny.
sharing. Anyway,
I think actually we probably have ourselves a bit of a scammer.
it looks like it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, look at that. Look at him trying to. What the heck is wrong? Can you get rid of him? Oh, it's Snazzy. Good for you.
Yeah, I did. I just went through. Who knows? They might come back. But actually, that's a really great time to really great time to start mentioning that sometimes we get scammers and spammers on the page. So
Yeah.
Bobbi and I don't go along and we don't solicit readings from anybody. If you want to connect with us for a reading, obviously we'd love to connect with you, but we're not going to do it in the comments and the messages here. So
No, and
yeah.
why would they? I don't. Why? Oh, anyway, I can't
Sometimes people
even
don't have
imagine the karmic backlash that
sometimes
dude would
people
receive.
just
Holy
don't
cow!
have better things to do.
Yeah,
So
so sad. Oh well.
yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, let me see. We're just going to kind of skip down a little bit because we've got some personal questions here and I think we've spoken to these people already. So Sue, hello, it's great to see you. And okay, so we've got Lindsay here. She's saying my daughter has had some bad or scary dreams. Is there a reason or something we can do? I think this is something that we can look at in a fairly general way.
Yeah.
So, what messages would you have for somebody who has a child who is having scary dreams?
It honestly, there's some specifics with it, but
Mhm.
sometimes it can be like what I mentioned. Somebody from the other side who wants to come and help your kid, and your kid can see them, but you can't, and they don't know who
Mhm.
they are, and they're like, they're putting their energy into stuff.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I actually, when I look at, I think salt lamp.
Mhm.
Like, and very, very often, sometimes I will even tell people, don't put the salt lamp in the room,
Yeah,
put it in the doorway outside the room
love that.
because they'll turn to water inside sometimes.
Yeah.
And another way to actually test to see if it might be energetic
Mhm.
is to put a bowl of salt underneath your child's bed. Don't tell them it's there, just put it under there.
Oh,
And if it
interesting.
turns to water, you
Yeah.
very much could have activity and people from the other side coming to say hello.
Interesting. I've never heard that before. That's really cool.
Yeah, when I go and I clear a house that has energies in it,
Mhm.
they will always bring me to the person who's bringing it in
Mhm.
and always say, "Okay, now put this under their bed." Yeah,
Interesting.
if it's a child that's put this under their bed.
Right.
Because kids don't really entirely need to know what's going on with them,
Yeah.
but it's easy for us to shield them. Well, we do it all the time. We shield them from
Absolutely.
the horrors of what's out there. We
Absolutely.
let them think it's all like Treehouse TV,
Yeah.
which it could be if we really tried hard
If
enough.
we tried. Yeah, and then, the other thing that I would do with that is I'd call on angels and I would say, "Hey, like this is all that can come through," and they can act as like the bouncers for your child's dreams and for what they're experiencing. So, create some
Yeah,
rules around that.
that's what I used to say to my son. Who do you call? Archangel Michael. And I said, what do you say? Archangel Michael, protect me. Grandpa, do come through. That's what he would say. So, yeah. And I would
Love
think,
that.
because my son's bedroom it shared a wall with my reading room.
Right.
So he had he woke up
Interesting
screaming once or
visitors.
twice.
Yeah.
He woke me up giggling once. That scared the devil out of me. It's worse to wake up to giggling than
Yeah.
screaming. Because giggling is like, oh, what is that? I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm playing with my friends. So tell them it's bedtime.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, it could be something like that, Lindsay. Let's
Mm.
hope.
Yeah. Yeah. Fingers crossed. Awesome.
Yeah, otherwise it could be diet. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, did you say otherwise it could be diet?
Yeah, that popped in my head just as we said that.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
I will have bad dreams if I eat something decadent before
Or
bed.
too late.
Yeah, too late. Yeah.
Yeah. Or too late.
Yeah.
Too late.
Would be
Absolutely.
hiding stuff in a room. I would.
Yeah. Awesome. So we've got Sue here, and Sue's asking, is saying that she feels like she has a block. How can I open up more?
What do you I think that people actually can get to a point where they level up
Mm-hmm.
and then they have to do some stuff at that level and
Yeah.
then the new one opens up.
Yeah.
What would you
Yeah, absolutely. I tend to see things less as blocks and more as plateaus that
Yes,
sometimes
that's the
we
word I
need
was going
to.
to use actually.
Yeah, yeah, that's very much what you were describing.
It was.
Yeah, and that sometimes we need to be in that and sit in that and to experience
Mhm.
that because there's something more that we're needing to explore and to experience. So, if after you've done that for a while and you feel really fluent and very comfortable in the area that you're in, like
Mhm.
you're outgrowing it, that's when I would start to look at, okay, so what is kind of holding things back.
I agree.
um yeah, and I see it kind of like the kerplunk game.
Gotta point for
so
point.
so the kerplunk game, it has like a clear tube and there are sticks that go back and forth,
Okay,
and there are the marbles that go in and you pull a stick out and eventually they kerplunk down through. So
okay.
I see, like, once you have like expanded yourself completely in the area that you're in, then it's time to start
I
picking
agree.
at things and opening up.
And it happens to us too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm in the middle of a movement up, and I did not
Mhm.
realize I had plateaued. I thought I had hit the summit.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden I was like, "What?
You
There's more?"
never hit the summit.
Yeah, I know. I have to be on the other side to hit my summit. So I should be thankful. Look at that. There's
Yeah,
more.
there's some
I'm
more.
staying. Hey.
Yeah.
But yeah,
One
sometimes
of
it's
the
just recognizing yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that I've been thinking about a lot recently is how there seems to be a desire to kind of keep moving up and up and up and up and up
Mhm.
without fully experiencing like everything that we could experience in this place and in this space.
Would you say that's societal? This idea of I got to accumulate, I got to get those more, I got to do this, I got to do that. Like we have this,
Mhm.
we never sit and go, okay, I'm going to ruminate in that one.
Yeah.
Even
V-
with food.
Yeah, very infrequently do we do that. And
Yeah.
the thing is that creates a really delicate stem.
Understanding. Yeah. It really,
Yeah.
really absolutely does. You're right. You don't get too in depth enough about it. And
Yeah.
actually, I think that can be kind of a thing for folks because then you cry, okay, where do I follow? Where am I going? What am I supposed to do then if I
Mhm.
do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if you get the little snippets, if you concentrate too far,
Mhm.
and all of a sudden I know everything there is about tea leaf reading, but I was actually supposed to be a Reiki master.
Mhm.
Then I guess it'll just keep going in your head
Yeah.
and you'll just have tea leaf reading and Reiki.
Yeah.
That's actually what they told me. So
You
shut
can
up.
do both. There you go. But yeah, I really like the idea of the stem, and I go into my 2020 pandemic garden experience, and I was growing tomatoes. And apparently if you kind of like go like this to the stems, it mimics. I know it felt a little bit dirty doing it, but
Oh, yeah.
apparently my tomato stems needed to be stimulated. and,
My
and
husband does that. He shakes
just
the tomatoes. Yes.
yeah, because it stimulates the wind and it gives a hardier stalk.
Yeah. And the stamen will
Yep.
get more of the pollinators on it. Oh, yeah. It's very sexual.
Very,
Very.
very.
But
It's
isn't everything in my little brain.
but it helps to give you a thicker stalk. So there you go. All right.
There's nothing like a good hard thick stalk. Anyway.
Kareen, it's always great to see you. Thank you for joining us. and and Lynette as well. Thank you for hopping on tonight. Nikki says that she loves oracle cards. I love oracle cards too. There's so much you can do with them.
There is, yeah, and they're pretty.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. We've got a Bobbi one from Katie. So wondering how to talk to my kids, ages 3 and 5, about ghosts, as they often mention they're seeing them in the house, but I don't want to scare them. What
I
would you
actually can
say?
hear they're more scared of you than you are of them.
Yeah.
You almost like have to say, and it's funny too. I almost never use the term ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
I say earthbound spirits. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know why. Like I have to be politically correct with earthbound spirits or something, but they will try to scare children because it makes them stronger, and they will actually evoke a fear inside of you, so that you. Man, when you are around one, you know you're around one. You can feel it, and it's like someone's in the room, but they're behind the curtain, but they're in the room, and that's the creepy thing. And the kids might actually be feeling it in that sort of way. And our go-to is they're not there. Tell them ghosts aren't real. And then they won't see it or feel it. But when we start to do that, we start to shut down things within the kids. So that's I would say they can't hurt you. It's like bumblebees. They're there. They're here for a reason. And you just ignore them, stand still, and they'll go away. Because that's what you do with bumblebees.
Yeah. Well, and that we share the same energetic space. And
yeah. And sometimes they're just passing through. Yeah, because some people buy houses they don't realize are on vortexes or what I call train stations.
Yeah.
So it always looks like Harry Potter when he's going to school.
Yeah, in and out.
I see people from the other side. Let's go through here and on our way to there. Yeah, and sorry, you live here. Yeah, they don't. Some will be there to frighten you, and some are just walking about, and you're in their way. Yeah. What about you, young lady? What would you say to someone like that?
Yeah, I would probably go in exactly the same direction. I mean, for me, I go into places of protection. So I would protect the space to make sure that there aren't any energies
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, to make sure that they're safe. So they, make sure that their loved ones say, or that they're benign, that they aren't going to be harmful. And I like to call on angels for that. We've talked about that a fair amount today, so I won't go into it too much more. But yeah, and then I would just make sure that they're feeling okay. And to explain exactly as you have, like they're not here to harm you, because we've made sure that it's only safe. Only safe and friendly ones are there. So
yeah. On TV, they always have ghosts kill people and things like that. Like,
yeah. I
love TV.
Yeah. Awesome. Fabulous. And Sue's asking for a link to the classes. I don't have any classes planned just yet, mostly because I'm not exactly sure where or how I'm going to be hosting them. But they definitely won't be until the summer, and they'll probably be outside. So that's all the information I have right now.
I'm really enjoying working outside.
Yeah.
I'm still doing my readings outside, and I will continue at least until fall. Because things happen out there.
Yeah.
And where you live. Good golly, Miss Molly. It's ocean, the sand. Holy Hannah.
There's lots going on.
Yeah. And there's more that they're able to show us indoors. Because of the disbelief parts of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I was doing a reading outside years ago, and I had a hummingbird almost collide with my head. That does not happen in my house. Thank goodness. But
poor hummingbird. Right? Yeah, exactly. It's like the tree frogs that show up, and I go, "Oh my gosh, you're about transition."
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, very
absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. So
awesome. Awesome. How do you get a time frame from Dex? This is really cool. So I'll actually pull this one up. So Bobbi, do you have a time frame question that we could ask that I can do a demonstration with?
Oh, good question. Okay. When will I become a grandma? Oh, my kids aren't watching. I'm like,
Holy jeez. Okay, I wasn't thinking we were gonna go that big, but okay.
okay,
All
that was
right.
too big.
So
Was that too big?
no, that is
Okay.
just fine. So what I like to do is I like to choose a deck that has like a lot of things that are present in it. I don't know that this is actually the best one. Hold
That's
on.
actually the first deck no, that's not the first deck I ever bought. That one, the one you were just about to grab is the first deck I ever bought. That one.
This was the first deck bought. Me too.
Oh,
This-
really?
yes,
Oh, that's so funny.
this was my first deck too, and I spent hours with it. I actually, when I first started doing transitioning into doing readings, I was working in the accounting department of one of our local insurance companies, and I loved the people that I worked with, but it just wasn't the right job for me. And so one of
Really?
the ways that I would, I know, right? One of the ways I would disconnect and start to prepare to go to sleep, to calm myself down enough to sleep, was I used to pull cards for myself. And yeah, I love this deck.
Oh.
Okay, so we're going to ask, we're going to ask our question. So when will Bobbi become a grandmother? And I'm just going to allow myself to choose a card.
And Donna, this is a very good question because I do not know the answer to this question.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I've got a lot that's coming. It's a lot that's coming up here. So I'll show you the card that I'm looking at. I don't know. I hope you guys can
Uriel.
see that clearly. Yeah, so we've got Archangel Uriel. And what I'm going to look at is I'm going to ask myself, what is the first thing that I notice in this card? And the first thing that I notice is all of the lights that are around, like all of these lights in here and over here and over here. That's the first thing that really draws me. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to count. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17,
Years?
18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. No, we've got about 27, 28. I'm going to ballpark this at about 30.
Okay.
So then I'm going to ask myself what length of time this is. Is this 30 days? No, it's not 30 days. Is this 30 weeks? No, it's not 30 weeks. It feels to me, hold on. No. Is it 30 months? Yeah, we're at 30 months. So we're looking at like 2.5 years, Miss Bobbi.
Oh my goodness.
So that's how you can use oracle cards to tell like a timeline and a time frame is,
Oh.
shuffle until you feel ready. Like you ask your question and then you're going to choose a card. This is one of the things that I talk about in some of my classes, because people will ask me, so how do I choose a card? Do I just choose the top card? Do I have to cut it? Do I spread them out and fan them out? And all of those ways are completely appropriate and accurate. Whichever card you choose is the one that you're meant to choose. Yeah.
What about poppers?
Oh, the ones that pop out. Okay.
Yes, I love the poppers.
Yeah. So if you get more than 5 cards, that's shuffler error. That's user error. So if it's more than 5, it's a no-go. But
Okay.
yeah, if you get 1 or 2 popping out, absolutely.
Okay. All right. I love my poppers.
Yeah.
I shuffle and say, what do I need to know?
Yep.
And then I'll get a couple poppers. And then I say, okay, where I am, where I'm going, where I'll be in 3 months.
Beautiful. I love that.
And I do the 3. And then, yeah. And I think that actually when you were doing that job that you did not like, you would pull cards so you could feel a sense of control so you could actually get to sleep.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of comfort because I was inviting angels in to help to comfort me and to support me. And yeah.
And you knew that those were the right things to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you could have stayed where you were working with the insurance people and used your abilities within the insurance. And I only say that just for folks who are in jobs that they might feel are not giving that to them.
Yes.
Every job can give that to you.
Absolutely. I'm sure I know that I've shared this story with you guys, but you can use your intuition and your psychic abilities in anything that gives you passion. And, just because we're using ours to work with people in this way doesn't mean that you wouldn't still be an effective police officer or a banker, or, there are lots of different ways that you can use your gifts that doesn't have to be like this.
Yes. Yeah. I hear Dr. Lawyer in my head.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness.
Those are those highfalutin jobs that people get all the. But to me, those are very psychic jobs that you need to have energy people.
Absolutely.
At the moment, I don't know that we do.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we're getting more. We're getting more.
We are. I know a lady who's a lawyer, and she's amazing. I love her.
Beautiful. Awesome.
I'm not just saying that because she would never come on you. So
Awesome. Yeah. So Lindsay's just saying, Lindsay's saying, I'd love to learn how to use cards and haven't bought any yet. Yeah, hold off just for a little while until you really feel that you're ready.
yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Carla's here. Hi, Carla. It's great to see you.
Hi, Carla.
Are there any questions that you should not ask your pendulum?
What do you think, you rule lady?
Any questions that you're not prepared to receive either a yes or a no on? Like, okay, hold on. I'll back that up and explain that a little bit better. If you're asking a question and you only want to receive a yes, don't ask your pendulum about it, because that's all you'll receive. You won't receive an accurate answer. Yeah, but I would stay away from things like people's deaths. I wouldn't use your pendulum to ask about that. And
Complicated things.
yeah, because you want to focus on yes and no. So unless you can break it down into bite-sized pieces, then you could use it that way. Yeah, but you want to ask yes and no questions. I feel like there's something that I'm missing, though. What would you say?
I would say that actually expect is the word. So maybe you might not want to ask questions where you expect the answer to be a certain way. You might want to ask a question that is a little more open.
Yeah. And actually, one thing that you can do, especially when you're starting to learn to use a pendulum, is ask at the beginning. May I, can I, should I ask questions right now? May I, can I, should I ask questions about this area in my life? And if you get a no to any of those, then either you need to take some time and space, or those are questions you're not meant to ask, or you're not meant to have answers to.
Yeah, or maybe your thinking is all askew.
Yeah, and then
by that.
The only other thing that is coming up for me is asking questions on somebody else's behalf without their permission.
Oh, okay.
That would be the only other potential one that you might need to be careful of. Like, what does a person think about me, or or what do they think about somebody else, where you aren't even the person that's involved? I would be aware of those types of questions.
Somebody else's free will. People ask me questions like that all the time.
Yeah.
Will so and so do this? And that's up to so and so.
Yeah.
And maybe at this moment, but then there's all the variables that could come in between.
And all of the free will.
Yeah, all of the free will, that darn free will.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah. 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 Oh, Jessica, that's really cool. Jessica's saying that her pendulum goes front and back for yes and side to side for no. Yeah. I actually programmed mine like that. I made that my I know you're going to be shocked. I made that my rule.
Rule? What?
Yeah.
Everybody. Erin's made a rule.
I know. Would you believe it?
Okay. Yeah. I do the same thing. I say, okay, round and round for yes, back and forth for no. That's the first thing I say when I pick up my pendulum. Round and round for yes, back and forth for no.
Yeah, you're setting your expectations, and that's just the way that it is. Yeah.
Yeah. You might want to get rid of this person here.
Oh, who do we have?
Oh, yeah.
I see. Yes.
Delete comment. Oh, I know how to do it.
Yeah, you can do it. You can do it too. Yeah. So it looks like we have a spammer on, you guys.
Yeah, somebody is trying to give people fake readings, and they're actually talking to you.
Yeah.
No, you're not talking to anyone. Don't be saying stuff like that to people.
Yeah, unfortunately, they tend to follow. When you do readings on social media and online, they start following you, and just to bug people. So apologies in advance for that, guys.
Yeah, absolute apologies, especially if anybody. Yeah. Honestly, Erin and I would never, ever, 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 ever need to do that.
True.
We wouldn't do it because we're good people, but we would never need to do that because we know that the people who are supposed to come to us will come to us, and that's that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't need to do anything else to orchestrate it.
Yeah.
Or push at people, and never would I ever. Yes, I am. Thank you, Jerry. I'm writing the book.
Awesome. I've kind of gotten lost with where we are. So I'm just kind of landing on Nikki. My apologies if I've unintentionally skipped over you. But Nikki's wanting to know what the difference between a soulmate and a twin flame is.
Oh. I honestly, both
Yeah.
those monikers, I'm about,
Mhm.
to be
Okay.
perfectly honest, only because I deal with souls all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't entirely believe that one soul can be attached to another soul. We're all attached to so many things. And
Mm-hmm.
even, yeah, I believe, though, very strongly that you can have a person who
Mm-hmm.
you have so many,
Yeah.
I don't want to say you're meant to be with, because that is
Mm-hmm.
very finite.
Yeah.
A person who is the right person for you in this time, or right person for you, period, or worth the work, or something
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, again with the Lizzo, they're your own soulmate.
I
You know how
love,
to love you. You're never going to hold you down. Those are her lines.
I love
So
that. I love that.
I sing that one from Lizzo too. I'm my own soulmate. No, I
Yeah.
I'm never lonely, which is true. All those
Yeah.
things are so very, very true. So yes,
Absolutely.
what do you say about the soulmate twin flame thing?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. From like a soulmate perspective, I see soulmates as being way more than just a romantic partner that you spend your life with.
Yeah,
My parents, my family, friends, those are all soulmates to
I
me.
actually just had someone call their father their soulmate
Yeah,
because their
absolutely.
father has helped them with their work psychically.
Yeah,
And to that, you could call my dad my soulmate. I
absolutely.
just heard barfing noises from my own father.
But no, I mean, like to me, soulmates are people that you have made like contracts with to
Connection.
come into
Yeah.
each other's lives, to learn, to grow, to develop, to be part of each other's lives.
We could be soulmates.
We are soulmates.
Yeah,
Hold
because
on.
we're
How
supposed to
is
be.
it how is it that you haven't realized this yet?
Because so many animals. Can everyone hear my animals?
Yeah, we love that they're here.
They're all here. They're all, because they get so excited about the things that they can see and
Yeah,
things
yeah,
like that. Especially my dog. I don't know if anyone heard her whining, crying, and I could see the thing,
yeah.
and I could hear her crying. She has since left, so
Yeah.
I don't know what
You're
happened.
just not that
But
exciting.
yes, I apologize for my animal sounds.
Yeah. And then
Just for
one other
soulmate.
thing from like a romantic point of view,
Mm,
I think that we have many. And I think that again, this is where free will comes into play, being ready comes into play. Like there's so many things. So
yeah.
you don't miss out because you didn't connect with one. Because there are so many.
And I think also too, we kind of, and I did have this when I met my husband, it was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
hi, holy Hannah. But it's not like that is the whole relationship.
Hmm.
We still are working and learning and knowing and blah, 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 blah.
Hmm.
I think with the whole soulmate, and that's my only thing with the whole soulmate twin flame things, people give up so quickly when something slightly negative happens, or when they do something that's not quite in cohesive with the way you're doing things like that. So
Yeah.
sorry, just want to add that in. Don't know why.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think that that also kind of goes to the disposable aspect of our society right now. Like if something stops working, you get rid of it and you get a new one. But that's a
Yeah.
conversation for another time, I
That
think.
is, we should do that within our sex broadcast we're going to do.
We should do that.
We have to do sex broadcast, don't we?
Yeah, we still need to do
You
that.
know,
We've been
never
talking
say
about it.
I
We've been
haven't
talking
told
about
my husband yet.
it. All right. So we have, I think this is Ba. I think I'm not exact. I don't know if that's a proper pronunciation. My apologies.
Yes, I
Um,
know. With ba, yes. I'm always afraid to say that incorrectly.
okay.
Yes, I
Okay. So we're
agree.
together.
We were
Awesome.
together on that.
So yeah, Boss asking kind of a specific question, but let's see if we can make it general. We're asking about like hacking a phone and hacking of, I'm gonna say electronic devices.
Oh,
That sounds like kind of a spirit thing to me
okie dokie.
in
Now,
terms of
I don't
like,
have the question. So the
oh,
question,
okay. So the question is, can you tell me why someone is hacking my phone?
oh,
And I'm
I
looking for
see.
a general way that we could approach this to fall into the what we're doing with the
I
show.
Actually, the only thing I can give is that okay, so when I started my YouTube channel,
Yeah.
I started to have fears of people I did not know seeing me in a way that I wasn't in control of. It started to freak me out. And then my visa got hacked. And
Interesting.
I believe I brought in that energy.
Mm-hmm.
I was so worried about being seen by something much larger than myself
Yeah.
that actually I was, and I brought in something negative. So my solution for myself was don't worry. Don't be thinking that they're going to know that no matter what, you're protected, no
Yep.
matter what, they can't get to you,
Yeah.
and actually allow yourself to be seen.
Yeah.
I don't know if that actually answers her question, but what would you say in that regard?
Well, what I was going to say was, it seems to me like that could be a way that spirit could get through to connect with electronics and stuff. So if it's not something that is harmful, that is just an annoyance, then I would wonder. I would wonder about that. But I really like
Yes,
the
or
take that you
tapping.
had on it too. And, as you were talking about that, it reminded me of an experience that I had almost 10 years ago where I suddenly felt this need to go out and get some of those sleeves for your credit cards so that they can't be like swiped and stuff. And I
Mhm.
went home and I checked my online banking and somebody had hacked into my account and had started stealing money out of my bank accounts and out of like my line of credit and stuff. So fortunately we were able to stop it and all of the money was returned. But yeah, that was a big win. So
That's interesting. So you think you were forewarned, not you got worried and therefore the energy came?
it had already started because it had started the night before, and then I got the need to go out and do it, and so I got some of the cards. But then when I checked my online banking, they'd already done it twice
You'd
at that
already done
point.
it.
Yeah,
Wow.
so it was to hop on it. It was like, no, you got to hop on this and get going.
Yeah,
So
later we'll discuss which bank because I believe I know it's the same bank I'm having trouble with.
interesting.
Yeah, Jerry, you're right. Don't shut the kids down.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. I'm not sure. You might be seeing somebody I'm not seeing. So, Maxine,
Okay.
hello. Hooray. I'm so glad that you're here.
Okie dokie. Yes,
Awesome.
516.
How are you feeling? Shall
Yeah,
we?
I am feeling tired.
Okay. All right.
I have to be honest.
Yeah, no, I think that's really fair. I think that's really fair. I'm just going to tackle this one question. I know that I've skipped a couple of people, but Amy has asked, how do you do readings over the internet? Um, Energy is energy, whether a person's sitting in front of you or whether they're, a, a world away. The energy is the same. I do find it more difficult to do readings kind of blindly, like when we're doing the
Yeah,
lives and stuff,
yeah.
because all I'm connecting with is some words and a person's intention as opposed to actually connecting with the person. But, energy is energy, and that's how we connect, whether, as I said, the
Yeah, we have
person's
to
sitting.
trust, I think, that we're somewhat right. And
Yeah.
I need to no, the Mick O is not with us.
Oh,
Not at
okay.
all.
Yeah, we'll go in and we'll do a little more.
Yeah, Lindsay has asked, and
Ah,
Ginger says to
okay.
the truth.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, Miko is
yeah,
a scam. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
we don't have anybody on here that we would allow to do that.
To do
So if
that,
somebody's
no.
if somebody's messaging you for a reading, that they have nothing to do with us. So,
Yeah, they're like the ones that email you.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and those guys can actually pick out names that you know somehow, some way. They'll
Mhm.
say, "We have a message from," well, or they're just using names that are very basic.
Very common.
Yes,
Yeah.
because my mom gets William, and that's
Right.
okay.
Right. Awesome. Well, everybody, thank you so much for
Thank you
joining
so
us
much. Anyone we
for
didn't get to, I'm really, really, really sorry, but
yeah.
we'll be here again.
Yeah, we'll be back next week. I will put the information
Thanks.
up. So until we figure out how to properly connect with the Universal Connections YouTube channel, I'll just post it to my YouTube channel, and it will also be on our universalconnections.ca website. So if you aren't on Facebook, you can always go over to the universalconnections.ca website and you can click the watch reminder thing. It will give you a reminder when we're on, or you can check out my HeavenLee Messenger Facebook page or Bobbi's Spiritual Medium Facebook page.
Yes, spiritual medium on Facebook. Not sure why I'm Kermit the Frog.
It's just really underlying that Bobbi needs a break.
Yeah, I can remember my yoga students actually whispering to each other, "Oh no, she's using the Muppet voice." Because that would mean that I was getting overexcited and they were gonna have to work extra hard because I would get so excited about the yoga we're doing. And
Bad news bears.
and the Muppet voice would come out. So sorry,
Awesome.
awful voice. Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you everyone so much. This was so much fun. I have so much fun doing this, my little soulmate.
Me too. Yeah, me too. Don't tell Vern.
Okay. He doesn't watch.
Right.
Talk about that later.
All right, we better say good night. Thank you everybody for joining us.
Good night, everyone. Thank you so very, 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 very much.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure connecting with you guys, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity to spend the afternoon with you.
Yes, we are so very, very grateful for that. Absolutely. We love you.
We love you. Awesome. Shall we do our namaste?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You ready?
Namaste.
Namaste.
Oh, I got you. I don't even know if I got it towards you there.
I think it was close enough. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.